I've finally gotten my paws on the DVD set The Clone Wars, The Lost Missions, and I intend to break it down to a few mini-reviews of the various arcs. There will likely be some spoilers involved, so consider yourselves spoiler warned. First, I'll give full disclosure. I'm not really a dyed-in-the-wool fan of EU Star Wars material, and by the same token, while I enjoyed the Clone Wars animated series, and to a somewhat lesser extent Rebels, I only really watched the episodes once or twice. So while I have a working knowledge of both shows, I probably can't recall characters and episodes chapter and verse. This is about as inside baseball as I ever get regarding these shows. Okay, so the set opens up with an interesting 4-part arc written by Katie Lucas, starring Clone Trooper Fives. I've always found him the most interesting of the clones whenever they get the episode focus. Fives' friend Tup goes nuts for no reason and kills a Jedi. Apparently Order 66 was activated in him by accident. Five sets out to investigate and finds himself sinking deeper and deeper into the conspiracy against the Jedi, eventually getting set up by the Kamino cloners and Palpatine himself. I'm always a bit dubious about clone-centric episodes. They tend to be very thought-provoking, and this one is as well, but lack any well-known characters. Apart from Anakin's involvement in the first and last parts of the arc, it's largely Fives and other minor characters such as Shaak Ti. By the end, it's very exciting knowing that Fives has the information that could potentially save the Jedi, but we know the knowledge must tragically die with him. If there's any flaw with this arc, it's one common to the series on the whole. It takes 4 episodes when 3 would be more than enough. Many times it feels padded unnecessarily. The second arc features Padme on a mission involving the banking clan, which puts her in contact with Rush Clovis. I honestly forgot all about this guy. When the Chancellor puts them together on the mission, Anakin gets real jealous quick, and demands, as her husband, that Padme refuse to work with him. She doesn't listen to him. Yoda senses the disturbance in Anakin and gets Obi-Wan to speak with him. Eventually, Anakin catches Clovis putting the moves on Padme and takes him on in hand-to-hand combat. Padme gets put off by Anakin's behavior and more or less asks that they separate. This was a very good arc, finally putting the focus on Anakin and Padme as a married couple. Since their marriage is a secret, it's easy to forget about it, but I'd been hoping for an episode like this that would put some needed emphasis on the stress they must be under to keep such a secret. Ian Abercrombie plays Palpatine during this arc. I always felt his voice was perfect for the role. After his untimely death, the part was played by the legendary Tim Curry. Next is a 2-part arc that teams Mace Windu with Jar Jar Binks. This was actually a fun bit of business. A queen from a race similar to the Gungans asks for Jar Jar's help. Mace is sent as an assistant. It's pretty funny to see the roles reversed where Jar Jar gets the special treatment and would likely have had things in hand save for Mace's interference. Jar Jar gets to see some action, of the romantic kind, with the Queen before she's abducted by a cult that is trying to steal the life force, capital F, from the heads of the planet. The chase leads Mace to a battle with Mother Talzin that results in her final fate. The next and final arc has the Jedi investigating the fate of Jedi Master Sifo Dyas, and how it ties into the mystery of the creation of the Clone Army and Attack of the Clones. This is the kind of story I was hoping from this show, where they could tie up some loose ends from the movies. Eventually, Anakin and Obi-Wan cross paths with Count Dooku, who was sent to keep the Jedi from finding the last living witness of Dyas' fate. During the showdown, they learn that Dooku is Tyrannus, who created the Clone Army. It's strange they still trust the clones with this dubious background. It was cool to finally be able to put a face to Sifo Dyas. The next episode is fun. It centers on Yoda and his sudden ability to hear Qui-Gon Jinn, still voiced by Liam Neeson, though it's a pity he didn't lend his talents to the actual films post The Phantom Menace. In order to keep the ending of Revenge of the Sith intact, Yoda plays things close to the chest by not mentioning names. After a group meditation session produces nothing, Yoda immerses himself in a Bacta tank inches from death to get closer to the netherworld of the Force. There, Qui-Gon bids him go to Dagobah, a planet known for its purity. While there, Jinn, taking the form of pixie dust, brings Yoda to the Cave, where Yoda has a vision of Darth Sidious and the death of the Jedi, yet still is unaware who the Sith Lord actually is. The next episode follows Yoda on his quest to learn how to retain his identity through the Force. It brings him in contact with 5 priestesses, who guide him through different challenges. First, to fight the dark side manifested in himself, then to a reality where the Jedi lay decimated. Ahsoka, and sadly her only appearance in this set, pleads to him moments before her death. Then to another alternative reality where Dooku never fell, and Qui-Gon still lives. I'm always troubled whenever Star Wars gets too esoteric. I'm a bit perplexed at the necessity of all of this. Does every Jedi need to go through this? Or is Yoda opening doors that will make it easier for future Jedi to retain their identity? After his success, Yoda is off again with R2. This time they land on the Sith homeworld, where Yoda faces the spirit of Darth Bane. Meanwhile, Sidious and Dooku use some kind of Sith magic to project a vision to Yoda. He has a battle with Sidious while trying to save an unconscious Anakin from falling to his death. Yoda succeeds, yet without learning Sidious' identity. After all is said and done, Yoda returns telling the Jedi next to nothing of what has transpired for him. He's left awaiting training from Qui-Gon, who is, I guess, now allowed to appear to him in spirit form. It's great to see so much of Yoda in these final episodes. It's a side of him we've never seen, that of a learner, but he still retains his strength of character. You get the sense the series was getting to the point where they were knocking at the door of Revenge of the Sith. They didn't really address lingering plot lines of Ahsoka, Maul, or Ventress, but apparently those plot lines eventually got taken up on Star Wars Rebels. There is a brief behind-the-scenes featurette on the crew behind the series included on the set. Overall, it's a very entertaining mini-season of a series that got cut off in its prime. I'm giving Clone Wars The Lost Missions 4.5 stars out of 5. This is Johnnie Torch reminding you yet again, keep the flame burning brightly, and the Force will be with you, always.